Bonjour. Okay, in this video, I'm going to guide you through some of the corrections and how to make corrections for your work. So this is really useful. I want you to have your paper in front of you, and I want you to have already looked through all my pink pen, all my highlighting, all my kind of corrections and stuff, and try to have figured out as much as possible what you can do by yourself. And then use this video for some of these common areas of mistakes that most people made. Okay, so number one, we have elles mères ou ils amis. So I'm gonna turn that up a second and put that on the screen, and I'm gonna move me down. Okay. So this first mistake is probably the most common. So they go kind of in order. This is the biggest one. So you'll see that I have double underlined these two parts of the sentence. Now yours might not say elles, or might not say ils, I mean, it might be something else, but I've double underlined it. And this is because you are trying to say his or her, or their, or something like that, like their friend or her friend or whatever in the story, as you're retelling the story of like whatever happened in your review. So I want you to use this box over here, use this chart to find the correct one. Now you know this, and especially you know it when it comes to my, like mon père, mon chat, ma mère, ma maison, mon ami, you know those things. But for some reason, when it comes to particularly this one, we forget, or we get confused, or we doubt ourselves. So this is the rule. You are not looking for his, her, and its in French. You are not looking at yourself, the person. You're looking at what they are describing. This is a type of adjective. So what are you describing? So in this first example, we're describing the mom, which is female. So we're going to go with the feminine, which is sa. So here it'll be sa mère. For friends, if we want to say his friends, if it was his friends, then friends is plural. So we're going to look at the plural, more than one column, and it would be ses amis. However, I think for this student, because they used this pronoun ils, I think they were trying to say their friends, which is even less used ever in the classroom. And so, but it's actually a little easier because there's only one way of saying their, leur, or if it's plural, leur with an S. So this one, I actually think I'm going to take this away and write le ami, their friends. So I'm not expecting you to have this chart memorized, but what I am expecting is that you use it. It's going to be projected in the classroom. And I want you to, every time you come across this kind of error in your work, look at the chart, figure it out, write it in. You do the work first. You can confer with a friend. And then if you're still not sure, ask me. Okay? Okay. So that's numéro 2. This is another big common one. I want you to understand the difference between un et le. So, and choose the correct one. So probably for this, I've circled it in your work. And I want you to look at it and think, is it un film or le film? And maybe it's not film, maybe it's something else. Un genre, le genre. Un personne, la personne. It could, so, and it might not be masculine, it could even be feminine, it could be une and la. Okay, so it might be, but it wouldn't be film because it depends if it's masculine or feminine. So basically, I want you to think about that, that little tiny words, because it has a difference. If you use un, it means a film. If you use le or la, it means the film. So, and we use it in the same way in English as we do in French. So would you say a film that I like or the film that I like? If you've already introduced it and you're talking about the film, then you need to use le film or le genre or la personne. Okay, so consider that, which one you're going to use. Ça, c'est fait. Numéro 3, ils. Okay, this one's great because this is another example. Quite a few people use this one. And for this one, you'll have this. I would have double underlined right here and double underlined right here. So again, it's using the plural form, and most people have used this when they're talking about 2 or more people in their story. So their names are, which is they're called, this one, or they travel to somewhere, or they look at something, or they do something together. So most of the time we're using ER verbs, and we know that it ends like this, like je m'appelle, il s'appelle. But as soon as you have more than one person, the ending is like this, ENT. Il s'appelle, il voyage. Okay, so for ER ending verbs that end like ER, voyager, jouer, parler, aimer, adorer, s'appeler, that's how it's going to end. So if you have any places where I've double underlined and you know you've got this pronoun and you're talking about 2 or more people, then that's probably what it is. Okay, so go ahead and put that in. And if you've got questions or you want to double check, I mean, this is your second draft, so you're going to turn it in a second time. So you don't need to check with me for every little thing because I'm going to read it through again. So just do your best and then turn it in. Okay, number 4, this is another big one. This is something that you learn at French 1, but we forget all the way through, we forget. In English, we say, I am 15. In French, we do not say, I am. We say, I have 15. So we use the verb avoir, to have, when we talk about age. So in any part of your story, of your critique, if you talk about yourself, a character, whatever, and you're talking about age, you need, and it's double underlined, or maybe I put, actually it's not a grammar, it's a wrong word, I've circled it. It needs to be avoir. So for avoir, for je, it's going to be j'ai, I have 15 years. And if it's il, elle, it's going to be a. A 4. Okay, so if you got that problem, you got that mistake, make that change. Next one is, a few people made this mistake. This one's not quite so big because you are used to it, but sometimes we just forget or whatever. So we know if you want to say my name is je m'appelle, and we know how to say his name is il s'appelle and her name is elle s'appelle. But if you're wanting to use it more complex, a boy called, or in the story, there is a person who is called, whatever, then we're going to use the phrase qui s'appelle. Qui s'appelle. Okay, qui s'appelle. Who is called. Okay, who is called. All right, that's one that's fairly simple. And the last one looks pretty big. This encompasses a lot of things. Quite a few people made this mistake. So actually, this is not the least important, even though it's on the bottom. It just takes up the most space. This is to do with adjective placement. So where adjectives go in the sentence. So we've got some examples down at the bottom here. These are our examples. But basically, adjectives are something that describes the person or the place or the thing, like describing the movie or describing the book. So the word that describes it, most of the time, if it's will come after, most of the time it will come after the noun, so after the thing you're describing. Definitely if it's color or genre, if you're describing it's your favorite or the nationality, like it's a French movie, it's an English book, it's a Japanese song, whatever, we're going to flip it, a song Japanese, a book British, a film French. Okay, it's going to switch. And this for all of these. So in your writing, I may have put arrows to indicate switching. but you need to check yourself and understand why those arrows are where they are. So I've given you some examples of the correct way. So let's have a look. Elle a les cheveux blancs. So she has hair blonde. So any of your adjectives that come after hair, long, straight, blonde hair, all of long, straight, blonde come after hair. Hair, long, straight, blonde. This is the big one, because only one person actually described what the characters look like, but I thought that was a great idea. So I definitely wanted to include that in the video. Maybe you want to describe what they look like. You could do that, especially, you know, just keep writing, use what you know, go ahead and do that. But everybody did this. You described what kind of movie, book, whatever. But a lot of you put the adjective before. So it's a funny film. No, it's a film funny. C'est un film comique. So make sure that you're checking all of that. Like, you may have done it with a genre, but in every single place that you use that, it needs to come after. And the biggest one that was done was people saying, it's my favorite film. C'est mon favori film. Mon favorite film, which is wrong. And so I've put arrows because favori or préféré, you could use préféré for preferred, favorite, that works too, always comes afterwards. So c'est mon film préféré, or you could put c'est mon film favori. And it is not favorite. Favorite is if something is feminine. So favori is the masculine noun, masculine adjective for a noun that is masculine, like film is masculine, le film. So it's le film favori. And then favorite is for anything that's feminine. So a TV series, la série, ma série favorite, has an S on the end, okay? And again, if anything's plural, the adjective agreement rule applies. You can add an S if it's plural, okay? Oh, and the last example is the nationality one. Say un film japonais. So if ever you have that, put in there. And if you don't, when you do your second draft, throw it in there. Is it American? Is it Japanese? Is it Canadian? Whatever. You can always add that in if that was something that you didn't think of. Okay, I've taken all of these examples from students that have turned in their drafts yesterday. So it is current and some great work. Okay, stay with me. I'm going to clear all of this, but you can always go back and pause in this video and have this up on your screen. But for right now, I'm going to pause so I can keep going and just give you a couple more tips. Use what's in the classroom and on the whiteboard. Some people paused and put stuff in English like, I don't know what this word is. And I'm looking and I'm like, it's right there on the board or it's right there on a poster. So use the things which are here in the classroom as well to help you. Remember your linking words and, but, because, or. So remember, you can use those, you should be using those at French too. And a lot of you have, but keep doing it. Number 3, remember your transitional words. So back in semester 1, you practice a lot with things like ensuite, puis, après, pendant, finalement. And I'm sure there's plenty of others. How to say in my opinion, or I think. We have it right there on the calendar. À mon avis, ou je pense. Use all of those things to improve your writing. They're things that we use every day. And last point is remember that you can use the question words, which are up on the 2 posters at the front of the classroom, in your writing, not as a question. So if you want to say who, it doesn't have to be a question who, you could just write the word qui. If you want to say this happened when this happened, or when this person enters, this happens, then you can just use quand. Okay, so not all of them. You can't use qu'est-ce que unless it's a question, est-ce que unless it's a question, but the ones which I put here on the screen, you can. Okay, so use your common sense, use what you understand of French, and know that you can use those too. That works. And last but not least, I want to show you how to use reverso. So you're at the point where I've said this is not a free right now. You can write up the second draft again with the corrections, plus if there are some things that you need to look up to check or to find out, then you can do that. But I want you to be wise, and I want you to watch this video so you know how to do that. So you're only looking up words that you absolutely need to know. Some of you you cannot look up whole sentences, chunks, whatever. So watch this video and I'll show you. And we're going to use this example. This was something that a student had written, and they didn't put it in English. They attempted in French, but I'm going to walk you through with that student what you would do if you wanted to find out how to say married. Dracula married Lisa. Okay. So firstly, go to type in reverso, and we're going to take the word married. All right. So if you just put in married, this is what would come up. And so we have marié, épousé, and then marié, but look, after the word, it says adj, which is adjective. So this is an adjective, and we don't want, look at the original right here. This is not an adjective. He's not a married person. It's he married. He did the action of. So we don't want the first two. And we want this verb marié. And see at the bottom, it says see more translations. There's a lot right there. And you can tell by the way the word is, and you should be able to do this at French too, by the way the word is, whether it's a verb, because look here how it ends in ER. Mariage is not a verb. It's a marriage. So it's related to the word, but it's not the same word. And I want you to do all of this. This is problem solving. This is thinking. This is not just a fast, easy translate. This is like learning as you're looking words up. So I want to show you that there are examples in context. So you see the sentence in English, he is married with adult children. And then you also have the translation into French, il est marié. So you can do it like that to try to find but we don't really want to say he is married. That's the passive voice. He is married. We could use this one. Carol subsequently married actor. So the action of he married somebody else or she married somebody else. Épousé, so that might work. I married, j'ai épousé. Okay, so we've got this twice. We're seeing this pattern. So at this point, I'd probably be fine with it. But it really depends on what you want to say. So if I put in that whole thing, Dracula married Lisa. Okay, so then we have a sentence, Dracula a épousé Lisa. Okay, so sometimes you see the difference of if you just put in one word, it might not recognize if it's an adjective or if it's a verb unless you put it in the context of either side. So the word married could be adjective or verb. So you need to know what you're looking for, the context of your sentence, and you need to push it a little bit further. One thing that I found, if I click on see more examples, and this is going to be really useful, is you can search a little bit more. Like marié is nice because it's more of a cognate, and you could use that. The French use that a lot. You could go to, there's a conjugation here, and you could type in, so once you've got that verb, yeah, let's do marié. Once you've got the verb marié and you go to conjugation, say you wanted to, yeah, but I want to double check, or I want to find out, okay, then in my next sentence, I want to say he married, il a marié, elle a marié. And you've got all the different tenses that exist, okay? Anyway, I just wanted to show you real quick what you can do with reverso. Mostly you're going to stay in a realm of translation, but you absolutely have to use the in context part to really understand that you're choosing the right words. Because some students, the worst thing is you pick the wrong words and it makes no sense, and it really is a shame. So if you have to do it this way. Okay, and then if you're not sure, you're on the fence, just ask me. I'll help you. I'll put it in your second draft, and I'll check it for you. Okay. All right. Good luck.